Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you a little about the shoulder. So there's three areas of the shoulder that we want to talk about. We got the front part, the medial part, and the back part back here. So there's three different heads. It's all one muscle. It's called your deltoid muscle. So three heads makes a big difference on what we're doing and the different ways we can hit that muscle. I'm going to talk about all three of those right now. First head that we're going to talk about is the anterior head, which is the front part of the deltoid. So again, there's three heads. This is the front part of the head. So anytime you lift your arm up forward like this, that's when you start working and focusing on that anterior head. Now there's different angles. One exercise we can do is a front raise like this, but different angles that we can do it by just turning the wrist like this. It's the same anterior head, but now a different angle of that muscle. And then finally we can do this, which again hits that same anterior head, but it's just a different angle of that one particular head. So a front raise, if I'm going to pick up a weight, is going to look like this. I'm going to bring that weight straight up in front of me, and you're going to see that muscle gain a little bit of flexion right there. And then I'm going to bring it up a different way, still the same muscle, flip it all the way around, still the same muscle or same head, but it's again working the whole deltoid. So anytime we're going to do this, we want to make sure that arm stays straight. If the arm's bent, then we're not getting that elbow up all the way and we're not going through the proper range of motion. So this is technically a front raise, but because my elbow's not moving, I'm not working that muscle as much as I want to. If I keep the arm straight, then I work that through the full range of motion. When we do this, we don't want to go up any more than about parallel to the ground. We can go a little bit higher than parallel, but when we come down, we don't want to go past back here. We want to stop right there at the thigh and then bring it back up. Anytime you go past the thigh, then you start recruiting momentum to get the weight back up again. So whenever we come down, the proper round or proper rep should look like this. You're down, come back up, down, come back up, down, come back up. So I might do one set like that, and then the second set I'm going to do it with my palms down. So it's the same exercise, but now I'm doing with a different part of the same head. The next thing we talk about now is the medial head. That's the bigger head. That's typically what people refer to as the deltoid. They forget about the anterior and posterior. We're going to talk about the medial head right now. So the medial head is that where it cuts right there. So when I push and flex there, you'll see the muscle kind of stick out there. That's what we're working on. That's what we're going to talk about next, all right? So the responsibility of that medial head is to lift the arm up to the side. So when I bring it up here, that's focusing on the medial head. Again, just like that front raise, when I lift the arm up, I can turn my wrist different ways and hit that same muscle, but hit it in different angles. So when I turn my palm this way, neutral position, I'm working more of the anterior part of the medial head. When I turn it flat, then I'm working more of the medial part of the medial head. And then when I turn it down like this, my thumb's down, my palms are up, or palms are to the back. Now I'm working a posterior part of the medial head. So three different exercises that we can do, three different ranges of motion of the same muscle, the same head of the same muscle. So now when I lift up my dumbbell, what I'm going to do, turn to the side here so you can see, again, working on that lateral. I'm going to put my palm down. This is the basic lateral raise. So I'm coming up to the side here. I don't want to go higher than parallel. I want to stop when I touch my thigh, come right back up. I don't want to bounce it off my thigh and come back up. I want to come down, momentarily hold it in the up position. So I'm up, down, up and hold, down, up and hold. Again, for different ranges of motion, turn that wrist, same thing, down, up and hold, down, up and hold. And the last one, sideways, down, up and hold, down, up and hold. It's probably heavier of a weight. This is a weaker part, so you're probably going to have to lower the weight in order to do the reverse grip one, but it's still a very effective exercise. Whenever I want to work, another exercise I can do is a military press. So now I'm going to take that weight straight up top. I'm going to come down. I want to make sure that weight is over my elbow. A lot of people do their military presses like this, and they just go straight up and down with the weight, which is not correct. You want to keep the hand over the elbow. So my hand should be out here, 90-degree bend, straight back over my head. I'm bringing that bicep all the way up to my ear, not my ear to my bicep, my bicep to my ear, come back down, push it up, come back down, push it up, straight up over the head, touch that bicep to ear, stop right there. Any lower than this, and you start again recruiting a lot of momentum into the exercise. We don't want to have momentum. We want to make the muscle do the work by the muscles contracting and relaxing. So anything down here, you start using momentum to start getting it back up there. So stop there, push it back up. The last part we're going to talk about is the posterior deltoid, which is this muscle back here. Again, all three heads, same muscle, but different heads of the muscle. So what that means is now when I pull back like this, you see that muscle pop out. So what I'm using is a band. The band should be on the same plane as the muscle that I'm working. So you don't want to pull from up there, don't want to pull from down there. I'm pulling it from the same plane. When I pull it back, you see that muscle pop out. The muscle is only going to pop out when my elbow is on the same plane as my shoulder. If I drop that down here, now that muscle doesn't come out as much because I'm not working the deltoid muscle anymore. Now I'm working the rhomboids, which are right about here, right? We want to keep that elbow up nice and high. So when I say posterior deltoid row, this is a posterior deltoid row, or a high row is another name for this exercise. If I drop that elbow down, or if I pull back and then rotate, and a lot of people will do that, they'll try and pull back too hard, and they rotate their hands like this, and their elbow drops. This is a bad way to execute a posterior deltoid fly, because now I'm recruiting the rotator cuff. And the rotator cuff is a very small exercise, or very small muscle. This is a lot bigger muscle compared to the rotator cuff. When I drop like that, I'm putting my rotator cuff at a bigger risk for injury. So again, keep that elbow on the same plane, pull it straight back. Even if I'm bent over doing a posterior deltoid fly, if I'm bent over here, I want my chest down, I'm going to lift those arms up to the side, lift those weights up to the side, and my elbow should be coming straight up. If my elbow comes back like this, it's the same thing as dropping that elbow when you're coming back like this. So we're coming out to the side, we're down, we're up, we're down, we're up to the side. Anytime we go back here, we lose that posterior deltoid and we no longer are working that effectively. So one last time, 3 heads, 1 muscle. What that means is if you work 1 head, you are working all 3 heads. So even though I'm focusing on a front deltoid, my posterior deltoid's still working. If I'm working on a medial deltoid, my anterior and posterior deltoids are still working. So when you construct your exercise program, you have to take that into account. You can't blast the front of the deltoid and the back of the deltoid and the side of the deltoid all in one workout unless it's a full, shoulder kind of workout. So you can do some shoulder front raises, you can do some lateral raises, but if you're doing 9 sets of 9 different shoulder exercises, you're probably overdoing the shoulders. You don't need to do that much in the shoulder. So think about the way you're putting together your program based on the way the muscle is built. The muscle is built with 1 muscle, but it's 3 different heads.